Welcome back to another Phill-osophy Arc episode. In this episode, I'm covering the heroism of the underdog. The hero's journey, one could say. We are all born as nothing, no more than little tiny babies with no skills, potential, or anything. A blank slate, an empty sheet of paper. White, pure, with nothing in it. We come from nothing, folks, and we go back to nothing when we die. But that doesn't mean that we can't cheer for ourselves. The eternal underdog of the universe, you know. What am I trying to get at here today, you're all wondering? And that is that the underdog's journey. To go from nothing, to build ourselves into everything and anything we could ever want. For me, myself, my business is centered around cleaning and gardening. Cleaning being the one thing that was absolutely the crux of my weakness, you know. I used to be messy, hoarding, collecting junk and trash and useless things I found on the street because they were intriguing. And when I left home, I spent a month decluttering my entire bedroom to turn 1 square meter of walkable, movable, operational room within my room into 5 square meters. Then, of course, I moved out, and my mum, she just filled it up with the crap again, but that's something for another day to unpack, you know. So back then, I was not a great cleaner. I was not a great organizer. I was not an organized person. As many of you know, I have ADHD, and that is pretty much par for the course that we are not organized or structured. But structure and organization can turn any man or woman into a weapon, you know. To become greater and better than we were. To upgrade ourselves into these vessels of fine flesh and sharp mind and quick wit. To be more than we were. Life is about, well, for me it's about finding systems to better myself. To hone the edge of my blade. To harden my steel and fold the metal and align the fragments of iron within my structure. To machine myself into such a tool that I am chip and blunt proof, that I hold my edge and I cut through anything, you know. To be the greatest weapon I can ever become. And today, like every other day and morning, I am the greatest weapon that I've ever been in this very moment. And tomorrow I will be a new and more deadly weapon tomorrow. Becoming more than we used to be is not always an easy journey, you know. We're going to stumble, we're going to stutter. I definitely stutter. Every session, every episode I stutter. And I embrace it because you know what? Push through the embarrassment, keep going, have a good time. Share my thoughts. Whether people like them or not, enjoy them or not, want to listen or click off, you know. And if you're still here, thank you, folks. If you've been enjoying this journey, this is the tale of my underdog journey. My hero's journey for myself. I'm not the main cast member of the universe, but in my own life, I am the actor and the gaffer, the photographer, the catering, the cleanup crew, the set designer, the set builder, you know. I'm the stuntman too. Because if I didn't put myself first in my reality, what's the point? Why would I put myself last and put other people first in my reality, you know? I put my family pretty close to the top. Even my business and my job. No, actually, my business probably does come first, before me. Because it is a higher power than myself. And it is my everything. It's my love child and my creation, my vessel of power, independence, autonomy, income. It is the driving force behind why I do what I do. I was never the most confident person. I was never the most liked or even valued person. I was very unliked in high school. I had the absolute life and happiness and everything bullied and beaten out of me for many, many years. Which put me right at the bottom as the underdog, you know. To have to build myself up. To move out here 6 years ago and lay my entire life and everything before me on the ground and look at it and go, wow, we're having a fire sale, folks. We're having a garage sale of the psyche, you know. What do I want to keep? What do I want to get rid of? What do I want to put in the bin? What do I want to recycle for its little useful parts within it, you know? To defrag myself and to work out what I want to be and become. So I sat down, I came up with a plan, I wrote lists with the help of my uncle and his suggestions and recommendations. I've covered them in previous episodes, as you know, folks. I turn up every day for me, and I have done so for 6 years. And folks, I implore you that if you keep turning up for yourself, you will see that you will be a better human, a happier one with a smile on your face every day. You'll wake up wanting to live every day, you know. If you keep turning up for yourself and what you want, it will be yours. It could take minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years, and it will, but you will get everything that you want to a 90% accuracy, as I do so say. Good things don't come when we wait. God won't put them at our doorstep free of charge. They won't knock on our front doors. We've got to do the knocking ourselves, folks, and the kicking down doors and the rebuilding of one's life, because, as I once said to my mum during COVID in 21, life is like a house. If we don't provide regular maintenance and repairs and sanding back the old paint and putting a fresh coat or two or three down, you know, the house falls apart and it caves in and rots right back into the ground, because only through maintenance and effort do we become the fine vessels that we envision ourselves to be. So next time you're wondering about what your future's going to look like and what you want it to be, deep, deep down, grab an index card or a couple or more. Come up with a list and write down what you want your life to look like, what the future you, the vision that you desire, is going to look like. And then spend every day and moment and minute and week and year and month carving out, eking out a little piece of it at a time, you know, like making a grand chisel design, you know, like chipping David out of the stone, you know, by Michelangelo. One little moment at a time, one step at a time, one little quest chain that leads on to the next. Put little moments of time into the future that you want to build. And enjoy the underdog's journey to the top. There's one last part I'd like to share here, and this is something very personal to me. Here we go, folks. So, I had two friends who I met through a nightclub called Rubik's, I believe it was, in Brunswick along the train line. I met them about a few weeks before COVID decided to exist on planet Earth, you know. And they said that at the start of every month, they would sit down together and they'd write a list for themselves and then a list involving each other. And they'd write down a few bullet points or something like dot points of 5 things they'd like to achieve that month. And then whether they completed them, they'd tick them off. And if they didn't complete them, they'd add them onto the next list, and that would be their next checklist of 5 things. And as they say, what gets measured gets done. So I thought about this little thing and I thought, oh yeah, that's an interesting concept, you know. So many years ago, to be exact, the 14th of the 8th, 22, I started a little list, and it began with discipline, food, exercise, productivity, commitment, concentration, capability, life purpose, friendships, family, relationships. Now, that list has grown, and that list is now food, sleep, exercise, and then these 3 in a category together. Discipline, productivity, commitment equals potential. Concentration, capability, life purpose, hobbies, family, friendships, relationships, romance, love, drive, spice, fitness, drinking, healing, and body weight. The point is that we can grow over time and track our stats and know where we're going. Because isn't it about knowing where we're going? We follow Google Maps to know where we're going. Why not ourselves, folks? Why would we use an outdated phone book or outdated GPS maps? Why would we not keep our information and facts and what we need to know up to date? As we should keep ourselves up to date. I'm running a 2026 version of myself this year. And every year I keep updating it and pulling out the Jenga bricks and replacing them and upgrading them and revising them and throwing away the useless data. Because the underdog's journey, the hero's journey, is very important to me. Because I'm not going to live a simple life. I'm going to live the hardest life I can, the most productive life I can. I'm going to be the best, happiest future me that I can be, because I'm not going to let anything stop me. And I don't want to stop. I love a challenge. I love a journey. I love a destination. I love a good adventure. And that no longer involves sitting around at my parents' house in the hallway for 14 hours a day playing computer games and doing nothing with my life. It involves running a business, going fishing, going outdoors, going on adventures, hanging out with friends, family, people, finding humans who I love to connect with and be with, socialize with and talk about the mysteries of the universe with, And I was spending countless hours in B&Bs, turning them from filthy to clean, and pondering the thoughts of the universe and myself, because it brings me happiness. And isn't happiness the most important thing about life? Is enjoying it? Because if we're not, we should be asking ourselves these big questions, Thank you for enjoying this episode if you did. And if you didn't, maybe you need to sit down and try and enjoy it. Because maybe you're not enjoying life enough. Thanks for joining me, folks. Have a great day. This is Phill-osophy Arc. Catch you later. Hey, Future Racer here. If you're finding the Phill-osophy Arc series inspirational, educational, entertaining, humorous, or it's giving you a little smile, think about liking and subscribing. If you have a family member, loved one, or friend who you think could equally benefit from this series, think about sharing it with them.